Now, hello everyone and welcome to Dartmoor Zoo. So my name is Frankie and today I'm going to be telling you through this virtual talk about our Amur tigers. I'm going to be telling you about the conservation about these animals, about the species just in general, and then about our two wonderful Amur tigers that we have here at Dartmoor Zoo. Now, conservation-wise, these animals are sadly classed as endangered in the wild. There's estimated to be around about 500 to 600 Amur tigers left, and that's it. Now, sadly, they have been massively affected by habitat loss and habitat destruction. They are actually hunted not only for their fur, but their bones are actually used within traditional Chinese medicines. There's no scientific evidence that actually helps, but different cultures have different ways of treating ailments and diseases. Now, tigers as a whole aren't doing great for themselves either, sadly. So it's estimated to be only around about 3,000 to 4,000 tigers left in the wild, and that is it. Now, there's actually more pet tigers kept in the US alone, with 5,000 to 6,000 being kept as pets. So this gives you an idea of how important these animals are to be conserving in the wild. They're an absolutely stunning species, and there's lots that we can be doing to help them. So there's thankfully breeding programs, conservation and education is all really important to conserve this absolutely stunning and beautiful animals. Now, these guys you would find across Russia and also into China too, and actually they used to be named the Siberian tiger. Because their population has decreased so much, they are now really only found within the Amur region. So that is why these guys are now called the Amur tiger. Now, again, within the wild, you would normally find these guys to be solitary, but I'll explain why we're able to keep these two together in just a little moment. Now, again, these guys, very similar to our cheetah and even with our zebra, have individual stripes to them. So just like our fingerprints, it's individual to every single tiger. So sometimes you might see these tigers with double stripes, sometimes even just one stripe, and again, very slight different colorations too. Now, those stripes actually go right down to the animal's skin. So if you're ever to shave a tiger, if they were going into operation, you will notice those stripes go right down to the animal's skin and will happily grow back after a few months. Now, that fur is incredibly thick on our tigers too, so these guys are able to withstand temperatures right down to minus 34 degrees, which is just insane, incredibly cold. So when we do have a warm day here at Dartmoor Zoo, which sometimes happens, there's lots of different ways to try and keep these animals cool. So sometimes we'll try and encourage them into the moat. Our male dragon especially loves going into the moat. You'll sometimes see him paddling around at his own free will. Alicia isn't too sure, so you'll often see her just paddling her paws at the edge of the moat, or she has also been provided with a small kind of paddling pool up into the enclosure too that you'll often see her paddling within. Now, something else that we can do to cool these guys down is giving them what we call bloodbergs. Now, these don't sound particularly nice, but our tigers thoroughly enjoy them. Now, this is where we get blood, we then freeze it and then hide meat within inside it too. So it's a bit like an ice lily, but a tiger version. So they do thoroughly enjoy it. Keeps them nice and cool, and it's a great way for them to be feeding and a bit of enrichment too. So another way we can keep these guys cool is actually with your general hose pipe. So again, we'll be spraying down our tigers. They thoroughly enjoy chasing after the water and again keeping themselves nice and cool at the same time. Now, these guys, again, similar to our lions, get fed every other day, and this is to mimic, again, their natural feeding behaviour. Again, very similar, they are a stalk and ambush predator, and again, use those wonderful stripe pattern to keep them nice and camouflaged within their natural environment, stalking up and ambushing their prey at the last moment. Again, in the wild, they're going to be going for different species of antelope, even different deer species, and warthogs, anything, again, they can get their hands on wild boar they've been known to take down. Now, here at the zoo, again, we feed them that horse meat, and that's part of the cull that we take part of up on Dartmoor to ensure we're only getting rid of those with genetic and medical defaults. Again, if you get a glimpse of the meat, you might know it's a bit of an odd colour. It's sprayed blue just to show that it's unfit for human consumption and for legal reasons and requirements. Now, you will notice our feeding with our tigers is different to our lions. So our tigers will take their time over their meat. You often lick away all the fur before getting down to the nice juicy meat and into the bones. So a good feed for our tigers will take them a good couple of hours to demolish, compared to our lions, who are known to finish their food in around about half an hour to even an hour long if it's a larger piece of meat. So like I said, our tigers are a lot more delicate. Now, like I said a little bit earlier on, if you saw the jaguar talk, if not, do head across to that one soon. These guys, Amur tigers, are the largest species of all the big cats. So tigers are your first, lions are your second, and jaguars are actually your third. And tigers are known to grow anything from around about 120 kilograms right up to 220 kilograms in weight, which is just astounding. Like I said, they're absolutely stunning animals, and like I said, very, very hefty at the same time. Now to introduce you to our two that we have in this enclosure. So we have Dragon and Alicia. So Dragon is our male, he is 5 years old, and Alicia is our female, who's also 5 years old. Now the way to tell these two apart is a dragon is a lot larger in size and has a lot more hair and fur around his head area too. So a really good, easy way to tell them apart. Now the reason that we're able to keep these two together, like I said a little bit earlier on, they are naturally solitary in the wild, but we're actually able to keep these two together because we're hand reared together in their previous zoo, which was Berlin. Then before joining us, it would actually cause them more stress to be separated, so we're able to keep them nice together, giving them all the resources that they need and require too. Now you'll often see these two being incredibly cheeky together, especially Alicia more to Dragon. She will happily stalk up onto him while he's fast asleep, pouncing on him at the last moment, encouraging him to play with her and to have a bit of a playtime as well. Now when they're not doing that, these two are generally quite asleep, so they again are able to sleep for around about 16 to 20 hours a day, which is incredibly impressive. Sounds like quite a good life of them, to be totally honest too. Now again, you'll often see Dragon sitting up onto the high rock. He is then often showing off his territory and making sure that everyone knows that he is the king of the whole zoo and pretty much the boss as well. Now again, we do target training with our tigers, so we encourage them into the house, and this is for medicinal purposes only, the reason we're doing this. So again, these guys are category 1 animals, so to do a thorough health check on them, we need to make sure that we're doing it through a very sturdy fence. So what we'll do is we'll encourage them into the house. We leave the door open, meaning they can leave at any time that they want. And it's very high tech how we do this. We get a wooden spoon with a tennis ball on the end, encourage them to touch the target. If they do, they get a small little clicker and a piece of meat for doing it. Like I said, they can leave at any time that they want and they're not forced to do this. Now again, we're trying to actually take this training a little bit further with our tigers and actually encourage them to stick their tail through a little slide that we've created into the enclosure. Now the reason that we've done this is again, so we're able to take blood samples from these guys. Now the reason this is so important is actually there's less adrenaline running through the animal's body into their tail, meaning that we're able to get a more accurate reading of a blood sample too. Now you may notice that Alicia has got a very slight limp at the moment. We are aware of it and it is under vet treatment. We believe the two of them were maybe play fighting with each other and she's just overexerted herself and given her a very slight injury. She's had this for just over a year now, but she is on the up and it is improving over the time. She is now getting steroid injections into the joint, which is massively helping her too. Now again, I think that's everything I've got to tell you about our tigers. Again, if you have any questions, head over to our Facebook page and we'll be able to answer them for you. Thank you so much for joining us here at Dartmoor Zoo and we hope you enjoyed this virtual talk. Thank you.